Oh my God, we are live. So, yeah, it's been a while. I haven't forgotten about my YouTube channel. Um, this is my new attempt on reviving my YouTube channel. If you've noticed in the past years, I haven't been uploading as constant or as often as I wanted to. I've been progressing in my parkour career. I've been progressing in life. I've been moving out from my country. I've been doing all this stuff I've been wanting to do with my life. But there's one little thing that's just been like kind of not impossible, but really hard to do. And it's using or growing my YouTube channel. And there's a lot of reasons for it. And as a creator, creative burnout and like overworking and like having to post every day, it's pretty hard. Even like now that I just focus mainly on Instagram, it's where you'll find all my updated content. It's pretty damn hard. So, I just feel like this is a good time to reinvent myself, reinvent my content, and also take you guys on my journey, my journey as in my life, and have that as something that I can talk about with all of you. Because I feel like behind all this editing, behind all this like recording and stuff, you lose a sense of people's essence, as in their personality, their depth. I don't want to be just seen as this parkour guy, right? Like I feel like even if you look at another creator, right? Let's say another athlete or another YouTuber, you will just see them as that athlete or that YouTuber and not like the whole depth of like who's that person, right? What do they like? What do they dislike? What did they do on their downtime? What they're working on their life? How are they improving their life, not just in their sport or their niche, right? And I feel like that's something that really resonates with me because I talk to a lot of people. I'm a really social, outgoing person, and I like talking to people not just because of their math skills or their things that I've accomplished in life, but like to feel that sense of depth and understand what makes them tick, right? What's really important for them in their life and what drives them to wake up every day and do what they do. So this is going to be my attempt to share all of this with all of you guys. So this is coming first off as a live stream. Probably most of you guys are not even online right now. You guys are just gonna, if you're subscribed to my channel, it's just gonna pop up and you're going to be like, oh wow, he uploaded something and it's not parkour. Well, don't worry, I will still upload parkour stuff. It's just going to switch around. So I just want to go over what's been going on with my life. I want to take you in this journey and just be completely honest and open and see and share with you guys what is going on, right? So first off, one of the biggest things that has happened in my life is I've turned 30 years old. I started parkour when I was 15, so I'm now 32. It's been 2 years being 30, and it doesn't feel like that in a lot of ways. First off, I feel like I'm still pretty energetic. I have a lot of energy. I don't feel like I'm getting older. On the contrary, I feel like I'm getting stronger, and that's pretty good if you're an athlete, and that's pretty good if you want to do big jumps and do gnarly stuff in your daily basis. But also, my recovery time has not been the fastest as it was before, but that doesn't mean it's not quite fast, right? There's a couple of things that have been happening. If you've been following me on Instagram, you know all about it. So I want to share with you a little parkour scar. See this? This is my collarbone. And as you can see, it's not here. Um, if you've been following around, you know what happened. But if not, I'm gonna catch you up to this. I did a 5 meter front flip here in Sydney. I'll get back to that in a bit. But while I was here, while I was training here, I had this session with Dom. I guess most of you already know Dom Tomato, a really good friend and also like a really cool partner to have. And he is been like really mentoring me and helping me with a lot of different things around my focus in my parkour, right? So we were both kind of like going through a little like of an injury period and recovering like together and getting on the basically on the sandy stuff together. And when we got to a point where we're feeling really good, we went out and searched this challenge. And I told Dom that day, hey, I feel like I today is the day I want to get back to my sending big front flips. It's just what's one of those moves that I just love. I really love the sensation of just dropping a 2 or 3 story building with a flip. It's just amazing. And I've been doing it for years now. So it kind of was like that moment of like, oh, I've been doing this really niche move that not a lot of people in the world can do. And I have Dom Tomato, which is basically the guy that made that move popular. And it was like amazing. Let's just go together and do this front flip and like just send it and have the best vibes. In my head, obviously, it was like awesome. Like I get to share what I love with another person that loves the same thing that I do, and he does it really well. Let's go out and send it together, right? It was kind of like this like culmination of everything I've been training for years, and then coming out and training it with someone that I felt connected with. And yeah, it didn't went how I wanted to. It was a really important life lesson. I took so many precautions that day. I really tried to focus as much as I could doing the move, and try to do it as perfectly as possible to not get injured as I usually do. I'm not a guy that gets injured all the time and it's always bailing like Dom. I am a lot more cautious. I am a lot more paranoid, and I do take a lot more risk assessment procedures in order to do anything that I do. That day was no exception. But when it came down to it, Dom did it first. It was great, and then it was my turn. I was feeling really good, but there was a moment where I completely just messed up my technique. A technique that I've been doing like for years, and I've never injured myself this way. Mind you, I've never broken a bone. I've never gone to surgery. I've never been out of the game more than 3 or 4 months at a time. Like I think the longest injury I've had was like maybe 3 months at most, and it was not that bad. It was just to the point where if I didn't treat it, obviously it was gonna be bad, but never to this point, right? So as I was setting up, I did the front flip, opened up, went into the roll, and the problem was, and this is something that I later analyzed, and that you probably can't see too well in the video, but when you do a parkour roll from that high, you really need to make sure that you go over your shoulder, right? So you kind of like place your hand like this and just go over your shoulder, and that's fine. Well, in this occasion, instead of going like straight and turn, I went straight. I went straighter, and then the problem was that as I was going down into the roll, I literally just tapped my shoulder a little bit and then rolled. You can see it a little bit in the video on my YouTube, on my Instagram account, and it's just you can see like it's a really rough roll, but you can't like it doesn't seem that bad until like I stood up, and then I was like, whoa, that was a rough roll. And then I felt something on my shoulder. I kind of like just move it like that, and as I'm moving it like that, I felt something wrong here, and I was like confused. I was like, oh, I think I broke my shoulder. So I started shouting to the guys, hey, I broke my shoulder. I think I broke my shoulder. So I go to sit down, and I almost passed out after the adrenaline, obviously, uh, went away. And yeah, it was one of the most painful experiences I've ever experienced in my life. And trust me when I tell you this, I've experienced a lot of physical pain. Although I've never been seriously injured, I've experienced pain, and it's been really intense. If you saw me on the reality show Exathlon USA, you might remember that time I hit my abs and I broke my abs. Yeah, you heard that right. I broke my abs because I ran into an obstacle. Long story short, I tore open my muscle on my abs. So there's literally a hole that they had to like put an infiltration on and to like pack it up and not leave a hole there. And then I got healed. But apparently, like the abdominal like area, any tear or anything that you might injure yourself, it's super painful. obviously because you're like moving and like your core is your center, and like even when you stand up or you like laugh or you like move or you even when you go to a bathroom, it was super painful. So like yeah, I've experienced pain, but that pain that I felt that day on my shoulder got to a point where I was like tunneling vision, like passing out almost, and like coming back and like sweating, and like it was just like super painful. Like I was like I could not exist right now. So yeah, they were really kind to they were really good friends. I was with YZ, another good friend, and Keon, and we just like drove to the hospital, right? We just drove to a hospital. Like I got in, like they put me in a bunch of like pain relief medication. I think they gave me morphine at some point. They have a thing here called a green whistle. So like it's just like a vape pen with a certain chemical that I still can't remember the name, but it was so powerful. I was super high, but that helped me like overcome the pain and going through that. Right. The next couple of weeks, and now it's been a month. I've seen the doctors and everything. They gave me the chance to get a surgery in the first 3 weeks of my injury, but the more I asked people, apparently it was really common. It's a really common injury. It was, and that it's an AC tear joint. So, see this? I'm looking down because I'm looking at the screen on my laptop. My camera's up there. Um, so you see this? This needs to be connected to this part. Well, to this part, right? And this one, I can't push it down, but this has to be lower. So what happened was a tear over here, and that displaced the collarbone. And now it's like that forever if I don't get surgery. But I don't need to get surgery. Apparently, I can. I still have mobility. I'm still like my range now is back to normal. Um, it's still a little bit sore, obviously, and I still gotta like build up the muscle again and get the whole jizz and jazz and whatever to get back to um, training routine and the things that I was doing. It's not bad, but I was this close in getting surgery, and I was this close to getting it. Because obviously they asked me if I wanted to. They gave me the option. You can like either not do it and you'll be fine, or you can do it and you'll also be fine. But if you re-injure it again and it moves out of place again, then it's a more complicated surgery. Therefore, if you don't get the surgery, even if you hit it again, you cannot displace it again. It might bruise, it might hurt a little bit, but you'll be fine. So it was a no-brainer for me. I went with no surgery, and that's where I'm at right now. So this last few months, I've just been rehabbing, focusing on getting this like sorted out so I can get back to my training routine, get back to my daily activities, physical activities, mind you, because I was in a like a sling for almost a month, and that really messed everything up. If you've never been in a sling, you've never injured your shoulder or your arms or anything on your upper body, you don't know how much annoying that was, because everything you do in your everyday life requires you to use your shoulders, your arms, your fingers, your wrist, whatever, right? And it's obviously when you lack something that you miss it, and you then realize how important it is. Not that I didn't know, but at that point it really hit me like, oh my god, I can't even type on my computer, I can't even drink for water, I can't grab my phone, I cannot even sleep on the side that I like sleeping. I like sleeping on my right side. So everything changed for me, and it was kind of, and it's been still a little bit rough to adapting. Now it's fine, now it's better, but it did hit me, right? And it did like put me in a state of like, I need to be even more careful now, because there is a point in parkour, if you take it to this level, into this seriousness, that if you really want to excel, you really need to push your body and your limits, and actually get to a point where you're not just getting, you're no longer injuring because of bad tech or like bad like body positioning, or like not knowing how to adapt to a certain move, or like you're not strong enough, or you're not flexible enough, or all these other things that you build throughout your career, right? Now it's like, oh, you get injured because of impact, because you're actually like throwing your body at really high speeds onto concrete, onto walls, onto floors, and to all of these things, right? um, if you're really good at technique and you're like you've mastered it, it's fine. right? It's fine. I haven't had a bad injury in my whole career until now. But that's the thing. I knew at some point there was a risk when I made the decision of pushing my ability to the next level. And that was a conscious decision. And I want this to be really clear to all of you that are watching. What you see that we do at a professional level, it's not reckless, and it's not, we're not getting point a gun to our head, or like we do it for the followers or whatever. Genuinely, if you really want to get to this high level, it's because you really, 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 really want to do it beyond all the external factors. It's a personal thing, and it's a personal decision. Therefore, it requires, obviously, be responsible, right? Responsible of everything that you're going to go through. And I knew at that point that, like, obviously statistics don't lie. 9 out of 10 front flips I've done now, I've injured myself, right? Because now this is the one. This was the one, and I knew at some point I was going to have an injury like this. And I'm really glad, honestly, I'm really glad that it was nothing major, that I can live with this. Yeah, I have a bump on my shoulder, and I'll have a bump on my shoulder for the rest of my life, probably, as a reminder that I did something that went wrong, but that's okay, right? It's, we're human, and that's why I wanted to make this channel, well, update my channel, and with my content, because I really want to expose all these things, right? I feel like now that I've been training for 16 going to 17 years, there's a lot of things in YouTube or in social media or in the internet that are not being said in parkour. I know, like, now, like, channels are getting more traction in parkour, and it's really, it's been really interesting to see. As someone that came from, like, literally writing on forums, on UK forums to be exact, to like text a message like, hey, how can I do the cat pass, or how can I do a backflip, or how can I improve my climb up, to someone on the opposite side of the world, and then waiting maybe 2 days, 3 days, to someone to read your text in the forum and reply with valuable information, so you can like read that and then be like, oh, I'm going outside now and I just got new tech I need to try out because I got this message from this guy in Spain, this guy in the UK, this guy in wherever, right, in the US, or wherever you're at, right? Then go out and train, to now literally typing parkour in YouTube and like have a ton of information, tutorials, YouTube channels that specialize on parkour content, as Star, as the Fat Guys, as Dom Tomato, right? All these things that are now so available to all of you, and that's crazy. And that's what even crazier is that new generations, the Gen Zs, Gen Alphas, now are born and they're like, oh yeah, I know what parkour is. Well, it's like 17 years ago, literally people were like, are you guys crazy? Why are you jumping on bricks? And you have to explain like, oh, parkour is discipline, is the philosophy, we do this and that. And they're like, oh wow, cool, okay, you can keep doing what you're doing. And like having to do that every week or every single training session, to now training, I go out training here in Sydney, and now we get people shouting, oh, parkour, the office parkour meme. They're like, oh, parkour, parkour. And they even try something, a low jump or whatever, or they ask for a backflip or something like that. That it's just like they understand what we do now. And it's pretty cool to see that, oh, well, uh, you're riding the wave of seeing a sport being born and getting it to a point where it's now, where it's super mainstream, that to the point where I've made a career out of it. And I'm really, really happy. I'm really thankful for all the opportunities that I've had, and that and all the experiences and all the people I've met and all the places I've traveled and all the gnarly stuff I've done. Like, I look back at it now and I'm like blown away that time has gone really, really fast, but because I've been enjoying it. But that's the thing, like, I've enjoyed it. I've experienced all of this, and I feel like if I die tomorrow or the day after, that stays with me, and I didn't share it with anyone, and maybe I shared a little glimpse of it, but the depth is lost. As I just told you now, like, if you just saw that parkour clip, or that front flip clip where I got injured, you're like, he did that front flip, got injured. Okay. but understanding the depth of what went behind that injury and what meant to me and what means to me and what how it affected my life, you would have never even like thought about it if I didn't share it with you guys, or if you met anyone that's close to me and talked to them, right? And I feel like all those things are really valuable, and if there's anything I want to do right now with my career is to give back. I've taken so much from parkour, um, and now I feel like it's time to give back, and every time I try to give back, I just fail to see the way to do it in a really honest and straight way possible without any like flashes and whistles and trying to do like all this crazy edits to retain people's attention, right? And make it like flashy and wow, I want to watch that. I kind of like I'm gonna keep doing that, but you guys will see it will show up in different places. Which now takes me to the second thing I wanted to share you. This video is titled it's titled all my new phase in my life, and there's a lot of things have changed. I've shared with you that my injury now. I've shared that I'm in Sydney. Let me talk a little bit more in depth about that. Uh, I fell in love with this girl from Sydney called Stefania Citis, and we've been together for 4 years now. And I've been the luckiest man alive to have her in my life and to be in a healthy and amazing relationship with. And at some point in our relationship, she decided to steal me and take me to Sydney, her hometown, where I'm at right now, right? And we didn't have a plan. After the pandemic, we didn't have a plan. She just knew that she wanted to live here, and she knew that I was going to like it. If you've never been to Australia and you've only heard scary stuff about Australia and all this like mainstream idea of kangaroos and spiders and snakes and dangerous places and sharks and surf and like super chill people, then you're partially right. It is actually like that, but it's so much more. It's amazing. It's kind of like the culmination of a lifestyle that I like to live. Like I really, if I was not parkouring, I would probably be skating again, skateboarding like more like as a skateboarder. Um, I would probably be surfing. I'll probably still live an athlete lifestyle, but just doing other chill stuff that I like from Australia, and I wish at some point I can like start making surf friends or like more skater friends and go out and do that. Like I really enjoy that. Like I said, parkour. Might know me just from parkour, but I am so much more. I have so much more things that I like, right? So coming here was at some point kind of like okay, let's try the adventure. Like maybe I'll like it. I maybe not. I came here with an open mind and I stayed. I stayed. Now I'm just transitioning into becoming a permanent resident, and I've been living here for almost a year and a half, almost 2 years. And honestly, I've been enjoying living here so much. I got a full-time job now, not parkour related. I'm trying to get more into the business side of things, understand how a business works, doing more admin stuff, going into a different phase of my life and not just like wholly focusing on parkour. Uh, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to do all the crazy things that I'm doing and I keep doing. And it's just going to be a little bit me taking different roles right now. Right. And one of those roles, so you guys don't feel like, you guys are like, Danee's just not trading anymore. He's saying goodbye. This is not a goodbye video because I know it's going viral. This is not a goodbye. This is just an update video. Because right now, if you go into Dom Tomato's YouTube channel, the last three videos, except the one in the train, I've edited and I've shot. Well, the train video, the front flip train video, I shot. I've been shooting all the videos now that I've been injured, and I've been helping with mainly the editing and like helping Dom build his channel. Our goal is to get Dom Tomato's YouTube channel to 1 million followers. So it's not an easy task, but I've worked before with content creation at a higher level. I've done content creation for celebrities and musicians and other people. So I know the know-how, and that's why it's so ironic. 'Cause I don't put that into my channel and grow 1 million followers, because I am invested on the process of creation and like moving pieces and like expanding other stuff, and not just solely focusing on me. I feel like sometimes we get too egotistical about our content and we like put ourselves in the center. And I feel like most of the time, yeah, that's pretty good, and you should do it to a certain degree to grow. And like if that's your goal and that's what you want to do, go for it. But for me, I've always felt like all this social media thing has been like a consequence of what I've loved to do, right? I feel like now this is pretty different from the focus nowadays. Now kids grow up being like, I want to be a YouTuber, I want to be an influencer, I want to be this thing, right? I grew up just thinking I just want to do parkour professionally. That's all I want. Like literally, that was literally it. Getting a following, getting all these opportunities, getting like the notoriety that I have now, was just never in the plans. Like being an influencer was not a thing back in the day. Like that was not even a word people would say. Uh, it was more like, oh yeah, it's a tool. Like, oh yeah, you have social media, so now I can like do more things and reach more people so they can see what I do. If they follow, they follow. But if not, at least probably there's one person that likes parkour, or there's one brand that likes what I'm doing, so they're hire me. But it was never like the I'm going to build a following and like create this massive following where I just have an army of people supporting what I do in order to achieve what I want. It was more so like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna put all my effort. If anyone wants to join in for the ride, that's cool, right? But as time passes, obviously time changes, and now obviously having a following is really important. I'm not saying it's not, but for me it was not that important. It was like, okay, cool, yeah, I got followers, I got verified, I got all these things. That's cool with me. But I'm just chasing my parkour. You guys like it? Follow me. If you don't guys like it, it's okay. I don't need to follow. I don't need to convince anyone to follow me. So it's kind of like now we're to the point where, okay, why do I want to get a following? I want to get a following from just the people that really want to get into the nitty and gritty of parkour, or in the sport business, in the sport growth of the new era, right? I feel like I've learned so much, and if you've ever had a personal conversation with me, you'll know that I can talk about a lot of. I have a lot of range, and I feel sometimes when I talk to people, I'm like, damn, I should have made a video talking about that. That would be really beneficial for other people, because I have all these people that I've talked to, and they've been like, "Oh my god, I did what you say," or I've been like literally copying what you're doing, or what you've said in the past, and that's been working for me and all that. And I'm like, well, like I feel happy. I feel fulfilled to be able to help people, to guide them in the right direction. I like creating connections, right? If I know a good, I don't know, um, a good brand, right? And I have a really good friend that does another sport that's maybe not parkour, and I have a good relationship with the brand. I got a good relationship with my friend, and they're like, "Hey, do you know a brand that's like this and that?" I'm like, yeah, sure. I work with them. Like, let me introduce you and like make them part of the team and like make them have a good relationship. And then I see my friend grow and like accomplish what he wants, and I'm like, wow, that was great. Like I feel good knowing that I can help in one way or another, right? So now I feel the urge to just share my knowledge, put it out there for free, basically, and help you guys grow as persons, as people, as friends, as someone that can be there while I accomplish all these new goals that I have in my life, right? So I just shared one of them, which is I'm working with Dom. We're working on his YouTube channel. I really, if you can go ahead and follow Dom, that'd be great. If you want to follow me, that's cool too. But my goal is to get Dom to 1 million followers. Now, on the other hand, on my content, I want to focus on this. I want to focus on having one to one with you guys, maybe do live streams, maybe I'll do this type of video, maybe cut off my my speech a little bit because I can go on forever. I know I talk a lot, but I want to keep it to the point where it's personal and you guys and I can have a cool relationship. And if you guys have any questions, I can go ahead and reply. And if I learn something new, I want to share that with you. Because, like I said, there's no point on hoarding all this knowledge and hoarding all the things that I've accomplished if I can't share it, right? Doesn't feel good. It's like the same thing. If you make $1 million, right? Be pretty miserable if you just spend it on yourself. Might as well spend it on your friends, spend it on your family, help someone in need. Use that money to help people, right? To make yourself happy. Otherwise, you're just hoarding whatever, and then you die, and you can't take the money with you, right? That's just ludicrous. So the same thing is what it's been happening with me. I've been storing all my parkour career from 2007 up to 2024. I've recorded like at least 70 to 80% of my training sessions and trips and adventures and reality shows and parkour competitions and workshops and this and that, right? But I haven't released anything. So what's wrong? What's wrong with me, right? There's a couple of things that are wrong with me, and in that I've learned throughout the years of like really addressing them, and sometimes not even addressing them, but like just learning about them and being like, oh, that's why. Oh, that makes sense, right? So going into a more personal thing, and I'll explain more videos in depth of every single topic that I just talked. This is just a general idea of what's to come and what I want to share with you. I want this to be uh, a stepping stone from here on forward to be more open about real life. I really hate this fake persona that we're all becoming, this digitalized version that we create ourselves and we sell ourselves and that we make people believe. As again, you lose depth, you lose the honesty, you lose a whole bunch of layers on a person by just becoming an edited version of yourself put up in the internet, right? Not that things shouldn't be edited or taken off. Obviously, privacy is super important to me, and that's why I hesitate a little bit on sitting right now and doing this live stream. But I said, you know what? Heck, I'm just gonna do it anyway. I feel like it's going to a point where I just need to do it. I don't care anymore. I'm in a good position right now in my life where I can like just talk about things, talk about mistakes, talk about victories, talk about dreams, talk about goals, talk about things that I want to accomplish in my life. And that if anyone's out there listening and you want to be a part of it, you're more welcome to do it. So also I want to be to a point where you guys can understand where I'm coming from and why I've disappeared from YouTube and why I've changed a lot since my last videos, right? And one of the things that I really didn't like, and I felt like it was a little bit vain and still feels kind of a bit vain, but I just want to make it in a way that makes sense. Posting all my videos before this one, where I was just posting like trip with GoPro, amazing lifestyle, amazing people around, doing gnarly stuff, traveling the world, doing gnarly stunts here and there. That's really appealing. Like, who wouldn't want to have a life like that? But it always was in the back end of my head that it was like, that's just really egotistical. That's just really vain. That's just me just like sharing my awesome lifestyle. But there's so much other wrong stuff in my life that I just can't keep up with a lie. Not that it was a lie and it's not a lie, but I feel like there's just it's just to like a superficial level. Okay, yeah, I do all these things. I do travel, I do have sponsors, I do all have all these things. I've accomplished a lot. But there's a reason why I've gone through that, why I've accomplished it, and I want you to be able to do the same thing, right? instead of just me showing you how amazing my trip was and all these amazing activities that I've been doing, how about like, yeah, I'll share that, but I'll also explain how I got here and how you can get there and what things you need to know in order to make it even better, right? Like I haven't gotten to the top. You guys are going to get to the top. Parkour is such a new sport, and that's something also that I've realized is that you see skateboarding, you see surfing, you see BMX, you see mountain bike, you see golf, you see karate, you see gymnastics, you see basketball, you see football, you see soccer, you see all these games, all these sports with amazing athletes with an amazing uh, lifestyle, right? Parkour is not there. Parkour is not up there. Parkour, unfortunately, athletes still struggle, right? I feel I'm lucky enough to have a good lifestyle and like be able to support myself and do what I love. But that's like less than 1% of practitioners. Like I can probably count it with my hands worldwide, not even talking about like just a certain demographic in certain countries. Like I mean worldwide. And why is that? Because it's a new sport. It's a baby sport. Like I don't know how to explain it. It's just so new, and it's grown so much because it was like literally almost on par with the growth of social media, right? So that's been helping us a lot to grow the sport, and it's just made the sport have certain characteristics that other sports don't have. Like you really like if you really want to be a professional parkour athlete, you need an Instagram account, you need to be posting daily, you need certain things, right? Even if you're a TikTok poster, it's quite different even there, right? All most of the parkour core community and the center of the sport, let's say the core, it's on Instagram. It's not even here on YouTube. YouTube is just a side path to the core audience that they just feed on it, and they just YouTube you can like see a little bit more in depth, right? Now it's catching on, like I said at the beginning of the video. Now you have more channels, now you have more people going into parkour because of YouTube channel. But reality is like the main core is an Instagram, right? Like that's where people see what we do. um and although other sports do that as well, it's not as core as it is in parkour, right? You have maybe in skateboarding, you do have like a core of like influencers, skateboarders from Instagram, but most pro athletes make their videos with their sponsors and they don't post their gnarliest tricks for almost a year. And you have to wait and sit and watch a whole movie about how these gnarly tricks were done throughout the year, right? And it's a lot of process and stuff like that. Parkour is instant. Parkour is like, oh, this NBD just posted today. Oh, tomorrow, three more NBDs. Oh, that's amazing. And so on and so on. It's just like building up like wildfire. It's a lot. It's different, and it's not frowned upon, because I know that certain sports, being an influencer, it's frowned upon, believe it or not. But now it's obviously more accepting. We live in a different world. We change our dynamics a little bit, and now it's a lot more important to focus on these things. So going back to my point, what I'm trying to do is just create a following of people that really want to understand the core depths of being a parkour athlete or an athlete for that matter, and just take you through this journey, right? I was saying before, I came here to Australia, and I stayed here not just because of the surfing and the chill vibes and the good weather and all of this other crazy stuff. I came here because it's a really interesting place. I grew up watching videos of parkour worldwide, and Sydney was always on that top list. People like Sean Wood, people like Novel Ways Ish, right? People like Dom when he was a baby in Crew 42. Uh, this videos really made an impact to me because they were pushing parkour a long time ago alongside with Europe. And Australia, I feel like it's always been underrated in parkour. And when people travel here and they see the spots and they see the community and they see the level, they're like blown away by how amazing this place is. And that's what I love about it. It's like it's the best of a lot of different places in the world, right? You can there's spots everywhere. Like I literally like right here on my balcony, I have a really gnarly precision jump to a rail or an arm jump, or Dom and I were talking about a side flip pre. It's insane. Well, the point is there is so many parkour spots out here and they're high quality. And if you really want to level up, I would advise you to come to Sydney. You can probably go to London, you can probably go to Europe, but if you don't go in summer, it's gonna suck. Trust me, it's going to suck. But here, year round, it's pretty good. There's some rainy days, yeah, but then it just the sun comes out and everything dries up in one day or less than a day, and you're good to go. So that's a great factor. Two, amazing spots everywhere, and I mean everywhere. We still haven't found all the spots. You can train anything. Three, the community is super tight. I come from Mexico where the community is massive. Apparently, it's one of the biggest parkour communities in the world. And I'm not even kidding. Ask the store guys, ask the fat guys, ask the guy, ask any athlete that's come to Mexico. Jason Paul, Daniel Labaca, Pasha, Pedro Salgado, all these people have come to Mexico and they've been blown away by the amount of people we've had, even in like 10 or 12 or 13 years ago. And now it's just going to Mexico's gotten to a point where we have this one spot that is the size of a city. It's called University City, UNAM, and every weekend it's run like all the students are gone, all the parkour people show up, and you will find pockets of people everywhere training parkour that you've never met before. So I come from a community where it's so big and so wide that you don't know everyone. And then like training sessions are wild, but you lack a little bit of that connectivity. And here, everyone's so tight. Everyone's training all week. Everyone knows each other. Everyone helps each other. Everyone like builds really cool relationships with each other. And I feel like that helps a lot to help push the sport and help push each other to accomplish their goals and accomplish higher skill levels, right? So when I started training here, Dom wasn't here actually. Dom was abroad. I started training with Michael Kidori, that you guys obviously know. Michael is a really interesting person, and he showed me around and he showed me his training session. And if you've seen his content, you know he is the impact master, right? Alongside Dom, but Michael just has a really pristine technique. Like I'm still blown away by the things he does. I've trained with him. I've gone with him to do certain gnarly stuff that he's posted now, and every single time it's really captivating and really interesting to see his process and where he's at a certain level. And that's why, like I said, like I'm doing all these things because I want to share it with you guys and not just like end up on that dimension of like, oh, it's a really cool parkour athlete that does these things. No, it like it really goes in depth. Like if I can sit here and talk about Michael Kadori or Dom Tomato or all my friends worldwide for hours because I really like to meet people. I really like to understand what ticks and in them and what makes them do what they do. That's amazing to me. So Michael showed me around. I fell in love with this place. I fell in love with the spots. I fell in love with the challenges as well because I immediately was drawn to certain challenges that I was like, oh, I've seen that. I've seen that video. I've seen that challenge in particular. I want to be one of the few guys that have done that because there's a reason. There's just few people doing that, and because it's you have to be really prepared to do that things, right? It's kind of like if you are studying medicine and you have to pass that like super hard test, you're like, oh, I've been studying medicine for long. Yeah, that's a really hard test. If I fail, it's gonna be bad. I probably won't pass my exam and I won't be able to graduate. I won't be a doctor. But I'll start really hard and then I'll pass my test and I'll be fine. It's kind of like that vibe. It's kind of like, oh, there's this jump. I need to prepare myself, train hard, focus, get into that mindset. build up that confidence and approach it in a safe manner that when I do it perfectly and I'm fine, right? I'm that level, and that brings so much joy to me. In Mexico, although it's a really big city and has a lot of gnarly challenges and gnarly spots everywhere, it still lacks that extra push on the spots. And if you don't know about parkour and you're just coming in like trying to understand what parkour is really cool with flips and all these things, but we really rely on the spot. We really, and that's something that I feel like now as years go by and the trend has been to do more flippy stuff on like smaller spots or less l- substance spots, and find the harder challenge you can do there, the more it's focusing on that, the more I've been driving away from that and trying to focus on like, let's find the gnarly spot and let's find the gnarliest challenge I can do in that gnarly spot. And that is the core of my parkour training at the moment. And Sydney is the place for that. Literally, any time of the year, you can go out and find a gnarly challenge and you'll be fine. Like I don't have to wait till summer to do something. I can just go out tomorrow. If it rains, maybe I'll wait an hour. If it rains too bad, okay, I'll just wait till tomorrow and then I'll go and I'll do it and it's fine. And I also have the people that are that high level right now in the world. One of the two most talented athletes in the world right now, Don Tomato and Kidori. They're both amazing people and they're both amazing friends and they're both amazing athletes. And they've been helping me so much to increase my level and get to this point where I feel comfortable just sending even gnarlier stuff that Danny from 15 years old would be blown away if I talked to him that I'm doing right now, right? And that's the point is I don't know if there's a 15-year-old, a 13-year-old, a 12-year-old, a 10-year-old watching this thinking, I want to be a parkour athlete. How do I get there? Because when I was growing up, I didn't know parkour wasn't popular. I just saw it in a Snickers commercial on the TV. I saw it. I at that point when I was 15, I was doing skateboarding and fencing like more professionally, and I just quit. I saw parkour and I was like, I fell in love. I want to do this. But obviously at that point parkour was a baby, it was just born. So I hoped it was to that level where skateboarding was, where you had like shoe sponsorship, board sponsorship, truck sponsorship, this that sponsorship. There was zero sponsorships in parkour. There was zero companies in parkour. There were parkour groups or individuals that did parkour secretly and that were just inviting people that were interested in it to be on that niche. So it was kind of like I was drawn back as the more I was doing parkour, the more I was like, oh man, I am not going to become a parkour athlete as or like get to the point where I want to visualize myself because there's no infrastructure. There's nothing. We are creating the brands. We are creating the brands, right? Like this growing up and watching one of his reach escape shirts and Sydney parkour videos for me was like, wow, I want to get one of those, one of this. Like when I grow up and when I visit Sydney, look, it happened, right? But even now, this brand is still on pause, right? And it hasn't gone too far. And that's unfortunately what's been happening with a lot of brands in parkour is because we still fail to find how to make it work. But the cool thing about all this, and I try to stay really optimistic, is that okay, I expected this to exist, but now I know it doesn't exist, so I need to create it, right? So that's an opportunity for me to create things, to create with my friends, to create with people around the world, to like together as a parkour community, drive our sport to the direction that we want. Yeah. Unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to see it, because it's politics, the Federation International of Gymnastics bought parkour. Literally, you just heard it right. It bought parkour. So it helped to shape it a little bit more into that idea of having a professional career supported by like a bigger institution and like push it into like a more mainstream and more like Olympic, let's call it, direction, because that was one of David Spells, the founder. one of the founders, goal always in the life, and he has some interviews talking about it, and that's fine. Some people would advocate for it and some people be against it, but regardless, it's helped. It also has damaged certain things, but it's helped, and it's pushing parkour into a more serious matter, right? Some friends that have won the world championships in parkour, they've really like really that really boosted their careers. Like they that really helped their solidify their careers. Like that's why I also cannot like be completely negative of what Fig is, and I'll have a video talking about that in the future. But it's getting there. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like there's more things happening in the background, and there's more institutions and brands and companies getting involved with parkour. That now it's a good time to like really invest on it, right? Or create something. So coming down here to Sydney, for me, was also a point where I knew that if I wanted to create stuff, unfortunately, I could not stay in Mexico. That's just the reality. Mexico is not at that point like financially and stability wise, and a lot of different things that I just don't want to get into. But I found an opportunity to come here, and now I am in a good position to like really invest on creating things and doing things and putting content out there that's valuable and creating maybe a brand, maybe this or that. I'm experimenting, and that's why, like I said before, like I'm being like now dividing my life into different things because I feel like that's the next way to go. I will still push my sport and I'll still push my challenges. You will still see my parkour videos popping up, but you'll also see this kind of videos where I'm gonna go a little bit more in depth and have a one-on-one with you and talk about it, right? So yeah, Sydney's been really helpful, really interesting. And another thing that's been important as to why I haven't been posting a lot and being consistent with my content is because I figure out, and this is now talking more in a personal matter, I've been diagnosed with high functioning ADHD. And you'll be like, oh, that's not a surprise. Like half of the parkour community have the ADHD or some sort of of or they're in the some level of the spectrum. I thought I was, I don't want to say the word normal, but I never expected have ADHD. But now that I know that it can be turned into a superpower. I also know how it can become your worst nemesis. And one of my worst nemesis was sitting down in the computer editing for hours and end to post something that was not gonna give me the satisfaction that I really craved. I really crave like being able to be helpful and fulfilling in a matter of there, right? You could say that the chumps that I've been putting out there, and I this is what I feel, they're valuable not because I post a gnarly challenge, but because everything that happened around that day and all the people that were present that day, they they were left with the impression that they could do the same. And that's important because the more you push your level and the more people see it, the more people are going to try to imitate that. And some might fail, but those who take it seriously and do it properly will actually accomplish it, and then they will actually level it up, right? So if I post, let's say, a side flip pre, and that's all I'm doing this really gnarly side flip pre's, someone will come along and do a side flip full pre, which it's already happening. And that's amazing because I don't know if I have the guts to try that, but I know that maybe a 15 or 16-year-old that it's working on their prime and they're like really taking seriously and training really hard and they see that it's possible and that if they train hard, they can get to that point. I'm all about it, man, and I'm all about it. And coming back to the conversation about Sydney, you have a couple of kids here that always blow me away about things they're doing. One of them is Henry. If you've seen the last Dom Tomato video, you will see the things that he's doing, and training with him is a blast. He's so good, and he's only 15 years old. I see him and I remember myself, and I can't fathom doing the things he's doing at his age. Then you have little Sam. Man, wow, he's been like on the grind, and like he started pretty slow, and now that he's becoming a teenager, boom, he's like really getting into that pike on his progression. It's amazing to see another kid, Zach. Wow, he's so strong and he really puts that strength into good use, and you can see it. Like, these kids are younger than 17, I believe, and they're all pushing the sport in a direction that I'm like blown away, and I am all for it. So yeah, if I can like do a gnarly thing and inspire anyone to try and do it and do it even better, go ahead. Like, please, how can I help you? What do you need? What can I give you to do it and do it the best way possible, right? Because it's one thing to imitate. Anyone can go and try what I do, but I'm pretty sure like 99.999% will get injured or have a minor injury that's going to become a chronic injury, and their careers are going to end, right? Like, I've seen it happen before. But if I can like inspire them and also help them, guide them, and give them the proper tips on how to achieve that and make it better, then that's so much better for not just me and not just for them, just for the whole sport, for the whole community. Because you also want to create a healthy habit of approaching things and not just like, oh, I want to get a million followers now. I need to do this trick to get the followers. No, like, there's a process. Take your time. And that's something about really important parkour. You need to take your time. If you don't take your time, you're going to burn yourself real quick. Like a lot of different athletes that I'm not going to name names right now, but I could name a whole list of a graveyard of parkour athletes that they don't train anymore because they try to go really fast. And that in this sport, going really fast won't get you that far. It's about being strong to be useful. And if you know that phrase, then you really and you truly know what parkour is about, right? So yeah, it's everything's been culminating to this point. And although I have zero people watching my live stream right now, I guarantee that if at least one person tomorrow wakes up and watches this, and you feel like I have something valuable to say, to share, please leave a message or please leave a comment. Please let me know what you're looking into, because I don't want to end up like all the other channels just posting like gnarly lifestyle and gnarly challenges and getting injured and coming back and the viral clip, right? I will keep doing that at certain level just because I that's what I do in a regular level, but I'll keep it more into a real playing level. So you guys can actually get the full experience of what it is to train with me and how I approach things. I'm different from Kadori. I'm different from Dom. I'm different from Pasha. I'm different from Jason. I'm different from all these athletes, right? We all share similarities, but we're all different, and we all approach our challenges and all the things that life throws at us differently. So I want to share my way of doing things, right? Also, most of the gnarly stuff that you'll see that I'm doing, if you want to keep seeing me at that high level, now you'll be able to see me in Dom's channel. Like we've partnered up, we've been training together like now consistently until this happened. But we'll keep training together and we'll keep finding challenges. So if you guys come from watching Dom's channel into my channel, now you know what to expect. I'm gonna go in depth with a little bit more of a talking one-on-one and also sharing my side of certain things. I have so many videos I haven't posted. I swear I have like 4 terabytes of content just sitting there that and footage that people have never seen at all, and behind the scenes of a lot of my challenges. So in the upcoming months during this year, I just want to get rid of all those videos. I've learned so much too about video creation that now I feel like I don't have to sit long time editing certain stuff just to post a valuable content or post what I want. So like that's been helpful. And now knowing that I have ADHD, I know how to process my emotions and process my ability to sit down and work on things that I really want to work on and put my whole effort and energy to them and be happy with it. Like I said, there's just all these things that I've learned now in my life, right? Like I have a new apartment, which is really nice. I live now with my girlfriend in Australia. I train now with Dom, with Michael, with all these people that I grew up watching and growing. And like now I'm part of the community here. So I really want to help it grow and I really want to help it become the next thing. And at the same time, I'm looking at all these other businesses and understanding the back end of a business and the process to create something, right? I don't want to just like sell just t-shirts and be like, oh yeah, that's my company. No, like I really want to think about like what do parkour people need, or where do we how do we get to a point where parkour is sustainable, right? Where if like nowadays, if there's a 15-year-old, they can actually think, oh, I want to become this athlete, right? I want to have this sponsorship. I want to have that thing. You have Red Bull now, you have GoPro, you have like, I think Prime Energies now coming to parkour. I don't know. Don't quote me on that, but there is now a little bit of momentum going. It might not be, and I want to be really clear, it might not be the ultimate goal to have this sponsorship. Trust me, the reality is a lot more harsher than you think. You see all these amazing things that we post on my friends post, the Red Bull people post, right? It's not there yet. Like there's a lot of things happening in the background that you guys don't know about, but it's a step in the right direction. But we need more of that. We need more options. We need more platforms. We need more ways to create a sustainable living, right? We have YouTube. That's great. But if you're not consistent, if you're not putting out content, if you're not like grinding and like having a schedule, you won't get it. But I feel like if that's not for you, then you should be able to have other venues to create a career, right? So I'm just mixed on all of this. And now that I've gotten to a point where I just want to share and see and have this conversation with you guys and see where your head's at. I also want to know what the new generations want from parkour. Like, what is it? Is it just like a trend? Is it something that you see you guys doing in the future? Is it just another extreme sport that you want to try? Or are you focused on learning parkour because you want to go into Ninja Warrior, for example, right? I got answers to all these things because I've done it before. I've done Ninja Warrior before, right? I've created a parkour career. I've worked with brands. I've worked with people in the entertainment business. I've traveled the world, right? I've created little Instagram pieces to full videos to music videos to all these kinds of things. So I feel like now it's a good time to just sit down, have a conversation with you guys, and share everything that I've learned. So that's a quick update. I know it's been like an hour now talking. Like I said, I can keep talking forever about a lot of things, but I'm going to cut it up here. This is just a quick update of what's been going on in my life. It might feel like a little bit out of the place, but that's just how my brain works. My ADHD just goes to like this branch, and then that branch goes to this branch, and all these themes go up. Yeah, that's how my brain works. And it's really hard sometimes to just concentrate on one single thing. But also it's a blessing because I can actually process a lot of information and like be able to output it real quick and learn a lot of things really fast. But yeah, it might be a little bit hard to follow up sometimes. So like if I ever also like extend myself and you guys are like, bro, you need to keep it more to the point, that's also valid. I would appreciate that as well, and just keep it concise. But if you guys enjoy who I am, how I talk without editing, without like me putting out filters and selecting, oh, this is the best, this is the best part of my conversation, scrap all the rest and like cut it out to a point where I feel like you're having a really fast-paced video. Yeah, I'm trying not to be that anymore. I'm trying to be more real and try to like share who I am too. Like I'm Danny, and I'm not just a parkour athlete. I'm a real guy. I have other desires, other dreams, and other things that I'm working on in my life. And if there's any way I can help you, and there's if you guys want to create a connection and you want to comment and like have a cool relationship with me, I'm also cool with that, right? So yeah, this is more like a quick update video. Thank you all. Please subscribe, please like the video, share it if you feel it's important, or comment if you have any questions or any remarks that you want to make about my videos. And yeah, I'll cut it up here. But yeah, thanks to everyone. I'll see you on the next video. Bye.